feet, Igor Shesterkin refused to blink. And thanks to Barkley Goodrow, Ranger fan emotions are back from the brink. Rangers in overtime win it 2-1 in Game 2 over the Florida Panthers. Welcome inside our Delta MSG studios, everyone. John Giannone, Henrik Lundqvist, and Steve Valiquette. You got the real feeling through most of this game, 3 periods plus 14:01 of overtime, Henrik, that if the Rangers didn't win this game, they probably weren't going to win this series.
I just love how they started this game. There was high intensity, high energy, speed. We talked about speed going into the game. I felt like they played a lot faster in this one. And, you know, they scored that first goal and all hell breaks loose. But it was just, it felt like they were more engaged and they were simplifying their game, especially that first period. And it kind of set the tone for their entire game. And I loved the effort. Yeah, what else can you say? This was a big game. I think they felt that. You could see it in the overtime a little bit. Both teams were flipping a lot of pucks and play it safe. But I loved how they started this one.
Yeah, they were challenged, guys. That was such a stiff defensive performance from Florida. It was hard to see a path at some cases that the Rangers were going to be able to build for themselves to get scoring chances that would be significant enough just to get through Bobrovsky because he was playing so well. But when I look back in this game, I'm going to remember a few things, and that's the adjustments the team made. They were very coachable, and they were able to apply it. I didn't think they got frustrated when they were challenged, and they worked their tails off. I won't forget those 3 things from this game.
And on a night where, again, the A-listers were kept somewhat under control, it was a 4th liner. It was Barkley Goodrow on the ice to take a defensive zone draw, who eventually flags down the puck in the neutral zone and scores the winner against Sergei Bobrovsky, who, again, was remarkable. Steve, take us through it.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was Vezina-level goaltending that the Rangers had to get through. And he was playing at such a level that it didn't seem like anything unless it was a broken play, a screen, but clearly not a shot that you'd see from Barclay Goodrow that would get through. And you see the shot itself, and boy, does it ever take a play for him to bring down the punted puck. That's what we saw a lot of punted pucks. But then it seemed to me like it had a little bit of turn on it. It didn't really settle on his stick, so he slung it and really got the benefit of having that flight path almost have its own trajectory because the puck was turning. And the celebration and the feeling that this brings for the team, for belief. You know, you need that belief. And guys, it was back and forth in overtime, and it was tight, and everything was contested. And the Rangers really proved to themselves that we've seen this all year, and now we're seeing it in the postseason, that level of belief still rings true.
Yeah, and I wonder if Bobrovsky had a tough time picking that shot up. That was pretty far out. It was a great shot, but when you have a defenseman go down on one leg like that, sometimes it's hard to pick up that first split of a second, and that's really when you read the shot. But also, we talked about going into the game, you have to go high on Bobrovsky. He's very low, especially with his blocker, because he uses a very short paddle. So his blocker is very low. So if there's one area I would love for them to target, it's high blocker. That was a great shot.
That said, Steve, are you surprised that shot went in with all of the opportunities that we saw throughout the night?
I am, except when shots like that go in, I always look at what was the puck placement on the shooter's stick before the release. And if you slow it down, I'm sure it's going to be one that was on edge because it's not a typical flight path. It is a different read. It comes in and it's moving. It's got movement on it. It's a bit of a knuckleball. It's a little bit from distance, yes. I think that's all the Rangers had at points in this game. That was the hardest part about this game because it was very difficult for the big guys on the Rangers to get inside. This was not this is going to be an amazing series, and I think that the level of excitement and anticipation for Sunday's game just got heightened.
And in a game like this, obviously, you need to rely on some luck. So when Hero missed that great opportunity and Oliver Ekman-Larsson
that was the best chance, and
blocks,
it didn't make
he's like, maybe this is not the night. You know, you need a bounce here or there. For sure, we were yelling in the studio here, thought the game was over, but it wasn't. But again, you got to stay with it, and they did. Yeah, they really did. But it was a great hockey game because it was so much back and forth, and it felt like both teams had moments of a minute or two where they just created chances, and then it was pretty quiet for that team for a while, and the other team pushed back. So there was a lot of moments where it was back and forth.
There was push and belief, too, because of the way Igor played, right? Like, he gives you the sense that I'm going to give you a chance to win. you guys go out and just take it to them. And on every save that he made, I think this makes the bench feel that, hey, guys, we're in this. We've got a chance. This is their best right now. Florida played an A game. Don't take anything away from them. They had their opportunities. Igor was so fast, side to side, that he caused a few misses as well. A lot of these great opportunities that he stared down, he showed up on his edges and was able to compete for extra plays like this one, where it was acrobatic at times because his save number 1 was so controlled and he had availability for saves 2 and 3. But again, I think that belief system through the group, we all know it starts with him. But this one comes down from top to bottom. Coaching staff, lineup changes, execution on the game plan. Playing stiffer in their own zone. I mean, look, Barkov played an amazing game. He was tough to contain coming out of the corner, but it still was enough for the Rangers to put up their wall.
Yeah, and Igor, he started off the game really well. He had at least 4 or 5 situations where Florida, they kind of entered the zone on the side, but they're really good at taking it to the net. So as a goalie there, you really have to stand your ground and not be backing in too much. But there's a few of those big saves, especially early on in the game, and I think that really helped him settle in, and he played really well.
Yeah, 26 saves in all, 5 in overtime. He stopped the last 19 that he saw in the game after the goal late in the first period from Carter Verhaeghe. And worth noting, when we talked about Bobrovsky, he had tied the NHL record with 12 straight overtime wins in the postseason. The Florida Panthers had 11 straight overtime wins as a team, and yet the Rangers still stared that down on a night that it just didn't look like it might go their way, and now they're even going down to Florida.
Well, usually when you start talking about records, they get broken.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So when you brought it up, it was like, it's going to end tonight. As soon as you said that, it's going to end. But no.
I thought he was going to say, when you talk about records, I'm usually involved.
The wrong way. Yeah, exactly. Let's begin the reaction to tonight's 2-1 overtime win for the Rangers over the Florida Panthers. Dave Maloney working the dressing room. Here's Adam Fox.
Well, Adam, what did you think of that one?
Yeah, I thought we battled all game. I think definitely a lot better for us than the first game. But I think we just stuck with it. I think it was just a great effort. Got saves when we needed them, and just all around a better game.
So again, when you say you were better, can you pinpoint areas where you thought you were a little bit better?
Yeah, maybe I think just simple. We were breaking the puck out a little more clean, just getting it behind and getting our forecheck going. I think. That last game they were breaking out a little easy, getting on the forecheck. I think we broke out pucks much better and got it behind them a little bit more too.
And I think it probably helps when you don't spend quite as much time in your own end.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot more tiring when you're defending for most of the game rather than being in the O zone and making them defend. So they're a team. They're gonna make you work. They're gonna try and get it in and establish their forecheck. But I thought, like I said, we did a good job of simplifying things and bringing the puck out and getting back in their end.
And finally, Barclay Goodrow, a couple-time Cup winners, sure showed some mettle in that shift.
Yeah, he's scored some big goals in his career, and he's a guy kind of a do-it-all. It's relied on so much on the ice and off the ice what he brings to the locker room. So. We're definitely happy to see that one go in.
Yeah, guys, on a team where the A-listers get so much of the attention, and rightfully so, not only for what they do on the ice, but their leadership, Barkley Goodrow is a guy who seems to be very important for the dynamic and the fabric of what goes on inside that room.
Yeah, I think playing a team like Florida, where it's all about battles all over the ice, they close check all over, so it's not going to be a lot of room to create big chances. So I feel like the role players become even more important. Those small battles, they can win those, especially third, fourth liners. There will be some opportunities for them. But, yeah, we've seen there's not a lot of room for the top 2 lines, the way they're defending right now. And obviously the Rangers have to match it. You can't just keep pushing and try to get offense and open up the other way, right? So I felt like it was a pretty responsible game for both teams. But I am really impressed in the way Florida, how close they are and how hard they make it for the Rangers to really create the big opportunities.
But Igor Shesterkin made it that much harder for the Florida Panthers, and he is now 3-0 in overtime in this postseason. Let's hear from the Rangers goaltender in the dressing room.
You lose a lot of motion after this moment, and if ref said no goal, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Barkley's been a guy who's kind of had some ups and downs this year. Didn't score a lot in the regular season. Just how happy were you for him to have that moment?
I think it's maybe for you, he up and down. For me, he always on the top.
What's it like in a game like this? And you may have just answered that, where from the get-go, there's just one goal could make the difference. And what kind of pressure does that put on you as a goaltender?
Yeah, of course, it's a lot of pressure, but you just need to stay focused, do your job, and play your game.
Pretty simple.
Play your game. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. Even when the pressure is high and emotions are high, who can play their game without complicated it? And Fox talked about, they simplified it a little bit, and I think that helped them. But listening to Igor, I mean, he's always steady. He doesn't use big words. He's just, okay, do your game or do your job. And we always talk about how it starts with him, right?
Yeah.
There's so many big saves, key moments throughout the game, and it just allows the team to play more relaxed.
You know what I thought? He did a really good job in this game of handling the puck. His touches were much better, much cleaner. The forecheck wasn't as on him. But sometimes, John, that's the holdups from your D. The one thing that I thought in this game, too, was they didn't have that sustained zone time. Florida didn't. And they had that in game one. So that didn't wear out the D in this game. They had fresh ability to get out of their zone because they weren't hemmed in. It took fewer penalties because of that. Igor was able to get his reads. I thought it was a game they managed their own zone much better, with the exception of a couple of Barkov walks from the corner. They're just going to have to contain him in game 3.
Yeah, that first line is a problem.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but now that attention will turn to Sunday, a matinee in Florida. Barkley Goodrow, Igor Shesterkin, two of the heroes on this night. 2-1 Rangers in overtime. Plenty more reaction when we come back.